So, the Annecy International Animation Film Festival has just been, and there was some amazing news about the future of DC. Now, first, the comic series Absolute Batman, which is insanely popular, and has been ever since it started in 2024. I mean, it's sold like crazy. In fact, it was the best-selling comic of 2024. So, in that sense, it is no surprise at all that Warner Bros. Are adapting it into an animated series, which I'm actually quite excited for, personally. Although I do have to say, as a DC fan, I am very surprised. Sure, this title is popular, but it's only been around for 2 years, and there are a lot of other popular projects that need adapting. Now, don't get me wrong here, I am not complaining about it. On the contrary, I am extremely excited to watch this show. But that being said, it is still surprising to me. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the Absolute Universe, there are many different titles, and the premise of it is basically that Darkseid corrupted this universe so that the DC Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, so they'd be screwed up, basically. I mean, that's the best way of putting it. So Superman has lost his hope, which, as we all know, is what Superman is all about. Wonder Woman wasn't raised on Themyscira, and as such, she is a much more violent character with much less grounded morals. And as for Bruce Wayne, well, he still kind of grew up as an orphan, though not quite. I mean, his father is dead, but his mother is alive, so, not an orphan in that sense. But she was kind of a shell of her former self after this, so she couldn't really do much to raise Bruce Wayne, which is why I say he was still kind of an orphan. Basically, he experienced the pain of the loss in a different sense. Instead of it being clean-cut, both parents dead, one just got extremely traumatized by it, and then they had to deal with that. Not easy. Not easy at all. And the other big difference, of course, is that he is not a billionaire. And so without the money that allowed him to train around the world and build all the Batman gadgets, he instead is a much more working-class vigilante who builds his gadgets himself, and obviously has no Alfred, at least as a butler. He does actually turn up later on as a jaded MI6 secret agent. I should also point out that he works on construction sites, and so when he's building places, he actually puts secret areas there for him to store stuff around the city, and for him to use as a bit of a centre of operations here and there. So basically, long story short, the comic is definitely worth a read, if you haven't read it already. And I am really excited that they're making this into an animated series. Seriously, this is actually exactly what DC needs right now. Instead of just doing endless prequels or just, some sort of mediocre stuff, they're adapting something new, something good, and hopefully they can turn it into something good as a series as well. All we need now is for them to adapt Deceased into a video game like Injustice, and finally DC will get themselves back on track. Although there is one downside in this whole thing. It's not really a downside for some, I suppose, but it's going to be made from 3D animation. Now, that's not bad, like I say, it really isn't. But personally, I prefer 2D animation for these types of series, because, well, one, I do just genuinely prefer it, and also in the past, CGI series have not done very well. In fact, the main two ones were both cancelled after one season. The Green Lantern animated series was very well written. It actually was. It was really well written. But the animation style lost them many, many fans, myself included. I actually didn't see it for several years after its release because I really could not stand the way the animation looked. So it probably, and by probably I mean definitely, would have been better in 2D. Or at the very least, it might have gotten another season. And then there was Beware the Batman, which was not great either. And that was also in 3D, though in fairness, might not have been the 3D that was all the problems. I mean, it was very difficult to finish that series. Very difficult, you know what I mean? But again, it's the animation series that alienated a lot of fans. Now, what you do have to remember, of course, is that these shows were made years ago, which means animation has improved greatly since then. So it may be better. In fact, the 3D animated film they did with the Super Sons did look quite good on the whole. But personally, I still think it would have been better in 2D. Because, well, one, it's cheaper, so the show usually gets more seasons, and they can put more time into animation and spending it on writers. I mean, why spend a fortune making it look shiny when you can make it look good? It's a case of, let's make it look all sizzle, and then they forget to add the steak. It's just bad. Now, to be fair, it might not go that way, but, well, as we all know, it does go that way quite often. But we haven't seen these designs, we don't know what it's going to look like, so it could actually be quite good. And so long as they actually adapt the comic accurately, because it is quite well written on the whole, so long as they do that, it should be a solid series. Now, the show is obviously in very early development, so it's going to be a while until it's released. I mean, we're talking late 2027 or early 2028 at the earliest, because, well, they're literally just announcing that they're about to work on it. They're very much at the beginning of this one. But of course, it wasn't the only series that was announced. Oh no, there is also, for the first time ever, going to be a Joker show. And yes, I am aware that Joker's been in stuff before, but for the first time ever, he's getting a leading role in this animated series. Now, the show's going to be called Joker: Laugh Riot, and it's going to be an anime. Now, like many of you, I love anime, and I binge a lot of it on Crunchyroll. But it does have to be said that the Suicide Squad isekai anime was, well, it wasn't exactly great, now was it? To be frank, I can't actually remember any of it, so I can't even insult it because it was just that forgettable. It was a very bland series on the whole. And let's just leave it at that. I mean, I genuinely don't like being negative if I can help it, and quite frankly, all I want to say is that wasn't that great, but hopefully this one will be much better. And in all seriousness, it actually might, because I do actually kind of like the show's premise. They're taking it in an interesting direction. Basically, Batman has been murdered in the show, and so Joker goes on a ruthless rampage through Gotham City looking for the killer, and then presumably punishing them for hurting his playmate. Although since Batman is gone, the Joker is apparently going to start being more of a vigilante, though I expect at best he'll be more of an anti-hero. Still, it's an interesting way for it to go, but I suppose if he's missing the person he loves most, much like in the X-Men series when Magneto became good because Charles Xavier was gone, well, it's not unbelievable. Bit of a stretch, but not unbelievable. And the show is also supposed to dive into who the Joker is, with him confronting his own identity and by extension his past. Now, I don't desperately need that. I mean, I don't need to know who the Joker is. I don't care who he is. I don't even care about his past. I mean, for me, it was settled in The Killing Joke. And what I mean by that is not that we have the definitive this is how it was, quite the opposite actually. I like the bit where they say the Joker doesn't actually know his origin. He remembers it this way, he remembers it that way. His past is multiple choice. And I think that's perfect for the character. So I quite leaving that open. But at the same time, because there are multiple choices, well, there's nothing wrong with enjoying one version of an origin. So I'm going to watch it and hopefully enjoy it. And it does sound like it's got a very noir detective feel about it. So I expect the show to go deep into who the Joker is, as noir loves analysing the private detective's dark past. I mean, that's the feel I'm getting from this. He's going to turn into a noir-style sort of detective sinking his teeth into this mystery, because, well, it just sounds like that, doesn't it? Now, again, we don't have a release date, but it's in early production. A bit further along than the Batman one was, but still, it's going to be a year at the very least. But it hopefully will be worth the wait. And there is also going to be a new Krypto series. Now, Krypto has had his own series before, and his own film for that matter. The series was, well, kind of forgettable to be honest. I mean, it wasn't terrible, I suppose, it was just a little bit bland. It was aimed at little kids. But the movie was actually quite entertaining. I mean, still aimed at kids, sure, but it did the whole Pixar thing. We'll aim it at kids, but we'll write it so that adults can enjoy it as well, which is how all the best cartoons are written. You think they would just try and do all of them like that, but hey, apparently some people don't understand this logic. Now, honestly, this is the show I am least excited about. I mean, they could do something drastic, like when they did the new My Little Pony. Well, it's actually quite old now, but when they changed the direction of My Little Pony and made it into something that was surprisingly good, with mature humour. Not rude humour, incidentally. Some people take mature to mean rude. It doesn't mean that. It just means it's adult-type humour, so kids might not necessarily understand it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's rude. Kind of like Gravity Falls or Finding Nemo, that type of sweet spot. And if that happens, well, then it could be good. But I really doubt they're going to do that because it does not seem like they're going to do that at all. I mean, the show's plot basically is Krypto's going to hang around with some other animals who are kind of criminals and up to no good. So it's basically good guy falls in with a bad crowd. I mean, the film was kind of like that. I mean, not really, but there is that sort of overarching theme if you really look for it. So, hey, maybe it will just be a continuation of that. And in fairness, if it is like the film, it could be fun, but nothing I've seen so far suggests that it's going to be. So I think this is the one that's going to be very much like okay, they've released it, but I'm probably not going to watch it. That type of thing. But, of course, we don't know what it's going to be like until it's made, and it is already in production, so it is going to be finished the soonest. Won't necessarily be released the quickest, because, they might just finish and wait for the right moment to release it, but it will be finished before Absolute Batman or the Joker series. And though we have no release date at this time, a little bit less than a year does seem like a fair estimate of when they'll release it. On top of that, there is also the second season of Batman Caped Crusader, which is coming out on the 31st of July. Now, I know that fans are very mixed on their feelings with this show. Well, I say mixed. I mean, let's be honest, that's just the polite way of saying a lot of people just seem to flat out hate it. And I get it, because it's not a very flashy or exciting show, really. Now, personally, I do still think it's enjoyable, if a little slow in places. I mean, I haven't really rewatched the first season, but I did enjoy it on the whole. But again, it is still a bit slow, so I can kind of see where people are coming from. I mean, this Absolute Batman one, that sounds way more interesting. In fact, in all fairness, this series does feel a bit as though it was made 20 years ago, which is why it is no doubt not taken the world by storm, because we're all like, yeah, this isn't necessarily bad, but it's a bit slow, a bit old, and quite frankly, we kind of already seen this. We didn't need a prequel, we needed a sequel. I mean, seriously, I think I speak for us all when I say I am just so sick of this endless prequel nonsense. You know, all these remakes and everything, and it's like, stop remaking classic stories that work and make something new. That is what the fans want. I mean, we're practically screaming this at them. How are they not getting it yet? But anyway. But yeah, as I say, the series is coming out on the 31st, and depending on how it goes, it could very well be the last season this show gets. Because this is a classic version of, they're doing a streaming service, so what do? Well, they're not just going to do one season and then see how it goes. Oh no. They're going to say they're doing one season, but they're actually doing two, and then they're going to divide it into 2 seasons to make it look like there's more content. Because that's what they do on streaming sites now. They make it look like there's lots of seasons, when in reality, they've just put episodes together and grouped them as different seasons, when really, it's just one season. I absolutely hate this. They do it with everything. They did the same thing with the Harley Quinn series. I mean, sure, now that the show's taken off, they're just, doing seasons as they go. But the first 2 seasons were just one season that they divided in half. And it annoys me that they do this. It's such a... What's that term for it? Oh yeah, the Surfing Dracula thing. It's that term for when, if you've got a show that's called Surfing Dracula, you expect to see a Surfing Dracula. Because, well, it's the freaking title of the show. Of course you expect to see it. But instead of giving that to you, they delay it. They delay that gratification all the way to build up anticipation that is unnecessary. And they do this with damn streaming sites. They make out that, oh yeah, we've got it coming. Oh, there's something really big. Oh yeah, end of season. You're like, couldn't you have just had that? And then in the next season, and this is a radical idea, I know, but in the next season, do something else. Do something new. Maybe, instead of dragging stuff out and boring the hell out of us, we can just do shows by the season. I'm sorry, I'm really getting into one. The irony of this is I said if I've got something negative to say, I don't like to get into it. But, yeah, I've kind of gone back on that a bit, haven't I? But I think, no, I know I speak for us all when I say it's annoying. Not because it's streaming, not because it's a new fad, none of that, none of those words. It is literally, very obviously, because it's not fun to watch. It's annoying that you're just literally not showing us what we need to see to try and make more money. And we don't like it. Who would? Oh. Anyway, those are the series that we have details on, and of course there is a trilogy of films set to come out based off of the Nightfall comic book story. Instead of getting 1, we're going to get 3. They seem to like doing this with the big stories now to try and maximise profits. Although, again, it's kind of the same thing of instead of dragging it out into multiple films, why not just do some good friggin' films? Oh my god, it actually annoys the hell out of me. I cannot be the only one who's just so unbelievably sick of this. And I know I'm not the only one, because obviously I'm not. We're absolutely sick of this whole, oh yeah, we've got this amazing, fantastic idea. And then the executives go, brilliant. Instead of doing it in 1, why don't we stretch it into 50 parts? And they're like, wait, what? There's not enough story for 50. Just throw in new characters to give it the illusion of story progressing, yeah? Yeah, that'll be great. Annoys the hell out of me, annoys the hell out of all of us, and most importantly, it's not fun. It ruins projects. So many series get cancelled because they're so desperately trying to, squeeze every drop of profit. And in doing so, they kill it. They literally are squeezing all the blood out of their project until it dies. But anyway. Stop all that. I'm ranting. Let's get back on track here. So as I said, they're going to make 3 films based off the Nightfall comic story. And in that, Bane breaks Batman's back, Batman goes on sabbatical to heal, and then of course he triumphantly returns as Batman to bring the criminals of Gotham City to justice. And that's almost certainly going to be the 3 films. First one, Batman fights a load of villains, then gets his back broke. Second one, he heals, other people step in to be Batman while he does this. And then third one, he returns as Batman to fix all the problems that have arisen while he was healing. And that's almost certainly going to be the 3 videos. In fact, I think I've already done a video going over that. I'll add a link to it in this video's description, in case anyone wants more details. But to be honest, that is basically all you need to know. Now, personally, I think the best of these is undoubtedly going to be Absolute Batman. I mean, I am really looking forward to it, and it's clearly DC's plan to expand this show, because the Absolute Universe did start with Batman, but they have other titles now, Superman, Wonder Woman, well, all of them basically, even the villains got their own one. So they're obviously going to expand it and do all of those shows, or at least include all of that information to make it as big as possible. And although they're obviously just doing it to make a load of money, I'm actually quite excited for it, because the writers are really talented, and they could really do something good with this. But of course, it will all depend on how it's adapted, and on how Absolute Batman is received. It might be one of those shows we get 1 season, that's it, it's gone. but hopefully it's going to get many seasons, and more importantly, it's going to be bloody brilliant and we're all going to enjoy it. But the real question is, which one of these shows are you most looking forward to? And what comic do you most want them to adapt next? I mean, be sure to let us know in the comments, because I'm sure we all have options on what we'd like to see adapted, and although I am very sure you're all looking forward to Absolute Batman the most, still, I'd like to know in the comments. I mean, there might be a few of you who genuinely think the Joker one could be better. But in either case, like I say, let us know. And I'd just like to quickly remind everyone that we have some merchandise available on our store, and to say thanks to all of you who have donated to the Needle Mouse Productions page on Patreon. And as always, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment.